Are you there? Or is it just me? We all hanging out? Hello, Mississippi. Hello, Michigan. Hello, another Michigan. Hello, Montana. We've got all the M states almost, except for Maryland and Maine and Mississippi. Maybe another one. Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 24. We are in the final week. There will be no more Wednesdays in the 30-day off-grid lockdown challenge. This is the last Wednesday. We're in the countdown. This is it. This is the last week. I feel the pressure. I feel like there's more stuff that I need to do. I hope everybody's doing good out there. I hope everybody's surviving the COVID pandemic and that you're all prospering in the inner person. That was a little bit of a burp. In the inner person, I tapped my inner person as I said inner person. Mississippi's here. I already said that. All right. Well, y'all come in and say hi. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. We're going to chat a little. We're going to see what's going on. I'm interested. I haven't been out into the world in 24 days. And in the last time I went, we just went and got a donut and some ice. I really miss ice. So I'm waiting for you guys to tell me how's it going out there. Are you able to buy whatever you need to buy? Can you go where you need to go? Can you do what you need to do? Can you talk to who you need to talk to? Is it frozen? Are you talking about a movie, or are you saying that the video is frozen? Everybody else come in and tell me whether it's frozen or not. This is the kind of thing that's irritating to me. Come on in and say hi. Is the video frozen or not? I don't know. The last word I saw was frozen. I'm going to sit back here and just wait. Just wait and see. You guys can talk to me. We can have chats. Video is working fine, Daniel. If you're having a problem with your computer, that's not my problem. Sound is fine. Good. Thank you, Frank. So Texas is in the house. All right, y'all. Yeah, so let me know what's going on where you are. Are you able to buy what you need to buy? Are you able to get what you need to get? Be able to see what you need to see? Talk to whoever you need to talk to? Ohio is fine. Judy says, hey, from California. Hey, Judy. Hey, Judy. Probably heard that your whole life. All right, so, a lot of stuff going on out there. I don't know what to believe. Don't know. I don't see enough of it because I'm so busy. I don't spend much time on the interwebs. So I get on there and I see a few things here and there. Montana's coming out of the third phase of lockdown. All right. Supposedly, I don't know what's going on for sure here in Texas, but supposedly the gyms are going to be open. I know a few of the restaurants are open. Some of the restaurants chose to stay closed because only having 25% occupancy is just suicide for a business. It'll be interesting to see. I don't get out of here till Tuesday night, so Wednesday will be my first time able to actually leave the land. If I'm able to leave the land. And, you need the little woman to visit. You're getting a case of cabin fever, man. You're telling me. She actually wanted to come this past weekend. She wanted to come visit, and I told her, I said, you know what? In my frame of mind right now, I need to go ahead and get through this whole thing. I don't want to feel like I cheated, and I don't want to feel like, because if she's here, she's going to help out. She's going to do dishes and do laundry. That's my other camera turning off. Stay home through August. Oh, boy. Yeah, the natives are going to be restless. So she wanted to come last weekend. She had planned to come last weekend, and I told her, I said, I'd love to see you. That's really foremost in my thoughts. But probably for the project, the best thing is for her not to come here and me not to see her till after this thing is over. Hello, Danielle. We're talking about you. And so probably she won't even be able to come immediately after it's over. It'll probably be that weekend. So the project is over on Tuesday night. And she probably won't be here till that weekend. So we're going to see how it goes. But you're right. I got cabin fever. I have not interacted with a human in real life in 24 days. I have had long conversations, some of them not recordable, with pigs and a dog. Yeah, I just feel like I need to get this thing done, man. I need to get this thing done. That's the whole thing. I didn't want to spend my time with her thinking, oh, there are these other things I could be doing. It's not like what I'm doing is like I'm running 24/7. I am running 24/7, but it's not like I don't even know how to explain it. It's not like if I don't do something someday that I'm going to perish or something. I just have these things that I want to get done, and I end up pushing them every day. So I've been talking about, canning up the kraut, bottling the beer, doing all these things. And every day, the days go on, and I have so many things to do that they get pushed, right? And I finish like one thing in a day. And so, yesterday I made bread, cleaned up the cottage, and today I bottled the stout, and I intended to do laundry, but then the sun came out at about 3 o'clock. And by the way, I did not think I was going to be here. I came down at about 4:45 to see how the solar was doing, and it was not good. The sun didn't even come out till about 3 o'clock, and it was on and off, but it wasn't enough to get very much solar. And so it was like, it was questionable whether I was even going to. In fact, I did a video, and it's on my machine right there. I did a video as part of the day video where I said, I guess I'm not going to be able to do the bunker live tonight because there's just not enough power. So I haven't been able to charge anything. So I don't know if I told you guys, but like I implemented a small, tiny little solar array up at the cottage, 90 watts. It's tiny. It's enough to charge a phone and stuff. And it was working great. It was doing great. And then it just stopped. And the charge controller for that system up there was 10 or 15 years old. And it just stopped working. So that had been helping me because I was charging batteries for the cameras. I was charging my phone. I was charging different things up there. And it just stopped working. So I got online and I ordered a new charge controller, which came in today. So today I went in the generator shed, which is, there's no generator in there. We just call it that, to put in the new charge controller. And the old charge controller started working while I was in there. So I was in there and I had the screwdriver, and all of a sudden it came on and the battery started charging. And I thought, well, I guess I got a spare charge controller. So that started working, but it was too late in the day for anything to get charged. I really didn't think I'd be able to do this show. And so I appreciate you guys coming here. Hit the like button. That's really the best thing that you can do right now. Let me see what we got going on here. Danielle's here. Love you, Danielle. Can't wait to see you. We're just two retired folks. Don't need too much. We've been able to get everything we need. Yesterday and today planted tomatoes. Amen. And potatoes in 5-gallon food grade buckets. Going to do green beans. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Daily Quail. Back 40 Feet Farm. Like to see you here. Dana Adam. Hello from Missouri. Yes, I will be able to go get ice. That's going to be very pleasant. If I can go get ice, I have 1 gallon of gas. So the question is, I have been carrying water and feed to the pigs because I don't want to use up my 1 gallon of gas. 1 gallon of gas is enough for when this challenge is over. I could put it in the 93 Taurus or whatever it is, 99 Taurus, 2003 Taurus, whatever it is. And I could get to town and I could get ice and I could get gas. But It depends. Sometimes it is so much work hauling in the water. What people don't realize, and I've had a lot of conversations with people, this challenge would have killed me 6 months ago. Would have killed me. There's just no way physically I would have been able to do it. Losing 100 pounds is the reason I'm still going. But not sleeping very well and getting up and chasing the pigs and doing everything I've been doing. My normal chores are like a part of my day. That's a part of my day. That's the things I would be doing even if I wasn't in the challenge. And then there's everything else on top of that. So I have spent the last 3 days cleaning stuff, just cleaning at the cottage, because everything I do takes so many dishes, takes so many pots, so many buckets, so many things. And then at the same time, I'm trying to keep things charged. I'm trying to record things. I'm trying to keep projects going. So my main goal has been to get stuff into the root cellar, to produce and get stuff in the root cellar. I don't think most people, because of the life they live, they don't have the context, are going to understand the difficulty of somebody saying, okay, without any planning, without any pre-buying, without anything, I'm going to shut down for 30 days. I'm going to go off grid. I'm going to completely separate for 30 days, and I'm going to increase the amount of material and survival material that I have. That's like unheard of. So that's really what I've been doing is making sure. I mean, all the butchering took 3 days. If you count canning and you count getting it to the root cellar and you count the cleaning, there was a lot of cleaning for the butchering. And then the brewing and the bottling today I did bottling. Takes a lot of cleaning. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing laundry because I have so much laundry. I have not been able, and I just keep wearing the same clothes over and over again. So I am looking forward to it being over. I'm looking forward to going to town. I'm looking forward to all that, but a certain amount of the chores don't change. I'm still going to be doing a certain amount of I talked to Danielle yesterday on the phone, and I said, even when this thing is over, there's a certain amount of the stuff I just have to keep doing because she's not here. She won't be here till the weekend. Okay, I will look in messages after this chat is over. Tuesday, I'm still in the challenge. Wednesday is the day I'm out. So Tuesday until Wednesday morning, I can't. I'm still in the challenge. All right. So one of the things I've been talking about a lot is the bunker principle, clearly, which has come into play here. I'm down to my last tank of propane, and I had thought that I would probably run out. I have not run out yet. If I do, then I will go to the wood burner, and then the fallback from that is a fire pit with the grill and all that kind of stuff. So I'm constantly thinking of the bunker principle. But one of the things I was thinking about today is how important it is for you to get tools. And I'm talking about job-specific tools. Doing the butchering that I did, the way that I did it, which is mind-blowing, requires, I only use 2 knives. I use the Mora knife, which I've shared with you guys, which I believe is in the description. And I used an old knife that I call a pig sticker that I've had for 20 or 30 years. I used a handsaw, but I was glad to have those tools available. The next step was canning, which having the pressure canners, having the jars, having the lids, having the cap, having all that stuff already there, having the salt, which I've told you guys for 2 or 3 months to buy a lot of. I walk around and I go, man, I just praise the Lord that I have this stuff. I can do stuff without this stuff. I have skills and I have the ability to do stuff without stuff. But how great is it to have the stuff? I look really, really tired. I came down here today to move the solar panels, and I sat down for a minute and I was out. I fell asleep. I think I slept 15 minutes, but I felt like I slept an hour. Yeah, as far as canning meat, Wildwood's Wonderland, pretty much any salt. I don't really get. A lot of people get into details on it. I try to store non-iodized, iodized salt, and sea salt. Those are the three things I try to store. But any salt will work with canning meat, and any salt will work with salting meat. I did some salting the other day too, which will be on the full day videos. All right, I'm looking at the messages. So having tools, I've been asked this a lot, and it's true. I would give up all my tools to maintain the things that I know. So if the trade came and they said you can have all the tools to do any job, to do anything at all, hand tools that don't require electricity, but you'll be wiped, your memory will be wiped. You won't have any data or any skills. Or you can keep the skills and the knowledge and you don't have the tools. I would take the skills and the knowledge, absolutely, over tools anytime. Because if you have the skills and the knowledge and you know the principle rather than the recipe, then you can make the tools that you need. But that said, I really like having the tools. And we're not talking about millions of dollars. We're not even really talking about thousands of dollars. I'm afraid that most of you, if this thing got worse, if this thing up in Michigan turns into a civil war and it escalates, or if they start arresting people for Obamagate or whatever's going on, if things get ugly coming to the election, if we have a resurgence of COVID and it gets worse than before, if they run out of food products and they end up implementing strict rationing requiring some type of contact tracing and microchips or whatever, I am afraid that most of you will not have the tools that you need, lacking the practice and the skill. So if you don't, here's one thing I've talked about a lot. And I did early on, I did a show where I showed all the books that I think you should have. Physical books, not particularly on the Kindle. The stack is, I can still see the stack right over there. The reason I say you should have those books, even if you don't have time to read them, is because when the stuff hits the fan, you will have time to read them. And you can sit down and read those books, just like Danielle and I did when we got started. All of our children were tiny. Internet existed, but there wasn't anything on there. And we would sit there and go, well, we got these chickens. What do we do with them? How do we do? We don't have any idea. There was no YouTube. YouTube didn't exist and would not exist for 10 years. There were no sites that said how to have chickens in your backyard. There was no Tractor Supply. There was no books. And so what we did is we sat down and said, yeah, in fact, I talked about the Foxfire series in that video. I've got most of the Foxfire books. What we did is we went and looked it up in the Encyclopedia of Country Living by Carla Emery. And I will, if I remember, as soon as this show's over, I will put that book in the description. And we got a goat, and we were trying to put up goat fencing and had no clue what we were doing. And so we went and we read Carla Emery. We got a cow. First time we ever milked it, we read Carla Emery. Encyclopedia of Country Living. So the apocalyptic event happened. We moved off. We moved out of the system, and we were trying to do things, and there was no information available. And so then what we did is we went and learned it as we needed to go. Hello, Scott. And we learned it as we needed to know it. So I'm saying you need to have all these books, because if you have these books, if internet goes out, and it very likely will, and you lose access to Michael Bunker and you lose access to all this stuff, are you going to be able to do the stuff that you need to do? Books are tools. And so this is why I'm saying you need to think about specific things that are likely in your scenario. What is likely in your scenario? Whatever scenario you imagine, go through all of them as an exercise. And if you're thinking, well, yeah, we might be getting a deer out the backyard, we might be getting a few squirrel, and you've never butchered before, now's the time, pardon me, to get you some butchering tools. They're cheap. I mean, I would get some good stuff if you can afford it, but if you can't afford it, you can get a butchering kit, a butchering set for $39. That'll get you through it. If you could spend more, because if you can get some good knives, a good saw, and all that kind of stuff. Same thing with canning. I got a lot of questions in the last few days about canning. If you're not prepared, so some people say, hey, I need to go out and get a canner. Well, you need a canner, you need jars. Canning is a new thing. Canning is not the way food was preserved for hundreds and thousands of years. Canning started during the French Revolution. Napoleon actually called for a means of preserving meat for his army as it traveled, and offered rewards, and canning was invented at that time. So you need to know canning, but you need to know all these other methods as well, but you need to have the tools available to do those things. Salt is a major one. Horrible throttles internet, can't watch it. That's not a sentence, but I understand what you're saying. My internet is slow too. I checked it right before I came on, and we're about half speed. My point is that what I want you to do, your exercise, your homework, is to think about what things are likely. If you lose power, if you lose the internet, it doesn't have to be worst case scenario, but what happens if you lose access to this alternate brain called the internet? So think about that, and think about what things are likely that you might be doing. If it's self-defense, there are tools. You need to get them now. If it, pardon my nose is itchy because my allergies. But if it is canning, preserving food, salt, canning materials, dehydrator, ways to do things without power, get the tools so you can study when the time comes and you can do the things you need to do. My voice is, yeah, the internet is glitchy. It's glitchy. I may not be on here very long because I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm going to be doing laundry tomorrow. A lot of that laundry machine. Here's the thing, laundry. I live in a small town 50 miles from LA in a rural town of about 20,000 people, but we don't have land, just a yard. We have a garden, but don't have resources to really live off the land. Are we pretty much out of luck? Yeah. I'm not going to say you're out of luck because I don't know what luck is, but I'm just saying that do what you can do. The best thing anybody could do that's in your situation is to interact with people who can help you and you can help them, and find a way to help them now. I'm really, really surprised that this is some advice that I've been giving for 5 months, 4 months, and people still aren't doing it, which is locate people who are in a position to help you, or you are in a position to help, and work with them now while you can benefit them. And then when those things happen, then they can benefit you. But I really don't know in particular, because I don't know, what's the likelihood. I don't know the makeup of your community, neighborhood, and all that kind of stuff. But most people, I'll say this, and I don't mean this to be depressing or anything, but most people are screwed. I'm not predicting anything's going to happen. I have not predicted anything. I'm not a COVID expert. I'm not a whatever doctor. I've not predicted anything since this thing started. All I've ever said is, how do you be prepared for whatever is likely? If it's a likelihood, which means you can do the math and you can say this is a likely situation. If you're trying to figure out if something is likely, try to figure out the likelihood of it not happening. So think of you're going through all these scenarios, and you think of one, you're like, I don't know what the likelihood is that we're going to have a civil war. Okay, well, think of what's the likelihood we're not going to have one. What's the likelihood that with what's going on with the division and the completely different worldview, mindset, completely different data set, that all these people are going to go, oh, we're just going to play nice now. That whole thing happened and, whatever, but we're just going to play nice now. What is the likelihood of that happening? So long as some semblance of normalcy, some semblance of the veil of civility remains, then people go on like they've gone on. Even with the so-called talk about the new normal and contact tracing and all that, people pretty much go on like they've gone on. But when that inch of movement happens, which changes everything. I've used the example of the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, but there's a million examples. How far does the new normal move? And so you just ask yourself, you say, okay, well, how likely is it that something's not going to happen? Ask yourself tonight, after we get off the air, after we're done and we're in the afterglow, I'm walking back up to the cottage, just exhausted, barely walk. And you're doing whatever you're doing. Ask yourself, what are the chances that life is going to go back to what we knew of as normal? Is it likely? And then work from there, right? And so this whole talk is about tools. It's about having the things that you need. And it's different for everybody. The Bible is a tool, and there's people that need it because they don't know it. And so for those people, I would say, make sure you have a good Bible. And there's some people don't care or whatever, that's fine, whatever you're doing. But I'm talking to the people that do. Make sure you have a good Bible. because you may not be able to get another one ever. Ever. But here's the other thing. If you know it, it's not that you don't need it, but you have it because it's in you. And I don't mean memorize it. I mean know it. So sometimes we would be going to church or something like that, and you're getting going, and you're getting dressed, and you're doing everything you get. And we would get to church, and I forgot my Bible. And I'd be talking to my daughter or to my wife, and I said, well, it's a good thing that I know it. Thy word have I hidden in my heart that I might not sin against thee. These are all tools, and I'm using that as an example. When I was butchering that hog, I didn't want to have to go to a video and watch it and then sit there and study a book or anything else. By the way, my hamstrings are apparently what I used to butcher that hog, because my hamstrings were so bad this morning. I spent half an hour stretching my hamstrings this morning because apparently, ironically, or whatever it is when the word ham is involved, the thing you use when you butcher a hog on the ground in the field over 50, when you're over 50, is your hamstrings. And so that's what I did. And they hurt still. So get your tools, think about things, think about scenarios, think about projects, think about things you want to do, things you can do, things you might do. Either tomorrow night or the night after, I'm going to do the bug out bag video. We're on day 24 and I haven't talked about tools that much. I showed books because I'm not a gear and gadget kind of person. I'd rather teach principles and then you figure out what tools you need to use. But I figured I would use today to tell you, if you have the opportunity to get the tools that you need, and they are cheap. The tools you need are cheap, relatively. That's right, Scott. The tools are relatively cheap for whatever it is you imagine. A canner can be a little bit up front, but having it and having a lot of jars, we have a lot of jars. We have a lot of quart jars, which we don't even use anymore. Probably thousands. What we need are pint jars, which we don't have very much of, but that's what we use now because the family is smaller. We need pint jars. But that said, we can do with what we have, and we needed the tools, and we need the tools, and we're glad to have them. So I was walking around thinking about that today. I was thinking about how glad I was that for 20 years, I've been gathering the tools that are necessary: intellectual tools, educational tools, physical tools, all of those, moral tools. Get the tools you need to do the things you need to do. All right. If y'all have any questions or comments, throw them up there in the comment section. If you're watching this later and we're not live, you can still write your questions and comments in the comment section. I'll read them, and then I'll either answer on a future program or I'll respond right to you in the comment section. I appreciate the likes from those of you who have liked this, and likes are always appreciated. Smash the like button. If you go down into the description after this talk is over, there's a few things I would like you to do for me. I would like you to, first of all, comment after this program is over. It doesn't have to be anything deep, or if you think of something, or if you think of something deep, or you have a question or a comment, just put a comment up there. The best place to get a lot of jars cheaply is thrift stores. You can almost always find jars at the thrift stores. You might have to buy the rings and the lids, and you don't need as many rings as you need lids. You really need a lot of lids. Try to do wide mouth. Almost nobody does narrow mouth anymore. Wide mouth is better. But we have gotten cases and cases and cases of quart jars from thrift stores, from auctions, estate sales, yard sales, that sort of thing. You will eventually, if you do this very long, will have way more quart jars than you can probably ever use. And you need hundreds and hundreds. But like I said, we need pint jars. We don't have very many pint jars. We have lots of quart jars. All right, y'all. I'm not seeing any questions or comments come up. This could be a very short program, but I appreciate you guys tuning in. I was pretty sure we weren't even going to get to do the show. Yeah, rings and lids. Amazon's a great place for that. You can still find some of those at yard sales, but new rings and lids. Don't buy the deals where you get the rings and the lids in the big box, because you're getting the same amount of rings as lids. Get a few of those, but you only need the rings while they're in the canner. As soon as you pull them out, you pull the rings off, they don't go wherever you're storing your food. Some people leave rings on all the time, but you don't need to. So just buy the lids and have 50 or 100 rings, and that's all the rings you're ever going to need, really, if they don't get rusted. You put them on, put them in the canner. When you pull them out of the canner and they cool off, you pull the rings off. Yeah, I would not leave the rings on. They rust out real bad, then it's very hard to get them off. Sharpening knives on a stone. People, get knives. That's one thing I've used a lot of this week. Get knives and get sharpening stones. Maybe I'll have to do a show on that. All right, everybody. Danielle, if you're still here, I love you. I can't wait to see you. Thank you for being so supportive. I can't wait to see you. I think about you all the time. Everybody else, I love you too. Don't really care to see you, but I'm glad you're here, and I hope to see you all on the next program. Thank you all for coming, and I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.